But now with the Zeri and the Jinx banned away, Anyone's Legend saying, look, Betty, we saw you solo kill Viper with the Aphelios. We're confident that we can let you have this pick.
Yeah, and I feel like Aphelios, you know, people look at Jinx, people look at Zeri as being the big OPs. Aphelios really can perform well, especially when he is the last one standing off the echelon of those AD carries. Interesting to see what they'll prioritize here. A jungler would kind of be the standard sort of thing in this situation, but we could also see some priority thrown towards the support role. Looks like they're going with potentially the Viego. I do like that, as it's one of the champions. If you lock down a Gwen, he can actually shred through her fairly quickly with a percentage HP damage. So a lot of DPS available to Anyone's Legend already here. Now for top esports, I feel like it's going to be an interesting one with the AD carry, right? They could prioritize one here, but there's such a wide pool after you get past the top tiers. I could also see them leaving it. I expect a jungler, though, in this rotation to match Xiaohao's Viego pick.
See what they want to go for. Of course, the Hecarim has been a thing. Actually, plenty of junglers. This is Xiaohao saying, look, I prefer this over pretty much any other jungler available on the board. They are saying that, you know, you take the Lee Sin, the Hecarim, the Xin Zhao, does not matter. We are happy with it. Of course, for top esports, picking up Knight with that Ahri is going to be very, very powerful. And honestly, I like where top esports are bringing their draft right now. They're just kind of gaining themselves very, very powerful top side of the map and a very solid support in the Nautilus.
Yeah, so I feel like here there's a lot of options for AL. I think you could actually take something like the Tom Kench in this situation. It's pretty good into Naught because obviously you can just mitigate his ult. But also you may want to match this Gwen now, right? I feel like if you don't match it here, you're going to get things banned away. So if you have something you want to play that's comfortable into it, it's now or never. Typically Kennen is like a safe matchup that can pressure out early. Akali has solo kill pressure once she gets the ult available. But it looks like they might be going with actually going to pick up the Sett, and this feels like more of a support set. We've seen QiuQiu bring that out, something he had a really strong performance on. So providing that engage that they don't necessarily have from the jungle. And now for me, I think probably Hecarim, Kai'Sa are the big bans for Anyone's Legend, right? We've seen the new Kai'Sa build really rising in priority, and Hecarim we've seen paired a lot with the Ahri for that really high speed chase down engage potential. But they're actually going to start off with the Xin Zhao. Does make sense, right? Xin Zhao Gwen, really annoying combo to play against.
Annoying is definitely a way to put it. It can be very, very powerful depending on what way you want to bring it. But because you haven't got your jungler picked up here for top esports, they're basically saying, look, Tian, we took away your Viego. We're also going to take away some things that could maybe disrupt the early game here for Anyone's Legend. Honestly, I think you can ban away the Lee Sin here, or maybe even the Volley Bear. Go for one of those again, very early skirmishes. And yep, the Lee Sin going to be banned here. Force him onto something that might not have as much of an early impact.
Yeah, and I think, you know, top esports, they banned the Akali, which is that sort of counter we see into the Gwen. It kind of goes like Jace is the one people want. Akali's a bit riskier, but can work. And then Kennen's kind of like the standard, you know, one people just tend to pick if they want to have a comfortable lane and scale into team fights. They don't actually up the ban it, though. They go for the Rise in the mid lane. So not wanting something that'll have that early prior and roam potential. I feel like AL here, you know, you could take your top E, you could take your mid. It kind of depends what you want to sort of solidify your comp with. I do like the Vex. It's a good matchup into the Ahri. Has that sort of dive potential, but also works if the enemy team's diving into you. You can kind of just fear them all and provide some space for your AD carry.
Provide some space, get yourself set up. I like the Vex here. It is seen as a pretty decent counter into the Ahri, but they're going to say, look, we're going to go for the Graves. We know that's what we want into this particular matchup. We're going to wait until we see the exact full picture of what top esports want to do before we give Forge something, because again, there's still a lot available to him depending on where he wants to go.
Yeah, I feel like Hecarim Kai'Sa is a really strong rotation. Like, it kind of solidifies that dive composition you're going for with this one, right? The Hecarim really good with the Ahri. They could both charge in together. Kai'Sa we've seen, right, have show up quite a bit, but they're actually going to go for the Draven instead. So something very aggressive in the laning phase. What if a JackeyLove special here, looking to really dominate the 2v2, but they will lock in that Hecarim, that aggressive mid jungle that can provide a lot of pressure. And AL probably just going to take the Vex. I don't see a reason not to, and they will lock that in.
I mean, one of my favorite calls in LPL history has to be Hysterics just screaming adoration, adoration, adoration. We know what this man can do with the Draven, and we know how much of a incredible snowball it can become. That being said, for Anyone's Legend, they've got a lot of ways of stopping what the side of top esports want to do. If they can kite out, if they can just keep you know, the Gwen and the Hecarim away at arm's length, they can turn these fights very, very quickly in their favor.
Yeah, I feel like Anyone's Legend have really powerful resets, right, between the Vex and the Viego. There was obviously the Ahri resets on the other side, but I think the main thing is in a longer fight, I expect AL to come out ahead, right? If they don't find that initial burst to engage, you have so much DPS between the Graves and the Aphelios. You have those powerful resets, Viego getting more ults, so they kind of want to find opportunities to either get that first initial kill or extend the fight and let it play out. But I feel like when I look at the other side, so many powerful engage tools coming out, right? They have the Draven as well, which is super bursty. The Gwen, which is very problematic when a W and her ult are up and available, and obviously is a bit weaker after that. So I feel like the pacing in the fights, the goals are going to be very different, but still should be an exciting game. I do feel like the Vex gives that mid lane advantage, which, you know, I've been highlighting quite a bit recently, how important mid lane is for fostering advantages for your side lanes, especially in a game like this, right? Draven, super snowbally in both directions. You get shut down or you get a cash in, makes a massive difference. And this top lane matchup as well, you know, Graves is going to have the pressure advantage. He's going to be able to push you in, farm up. But if you make a mistake, Wayward can certainly find an all-in potential post 6.
Absolutely can. Well, we'll have to wait and see, as we're going to jump straight onto the Rift for game 1 of this best of 3. Remember, anyone's legend need everything to go in their favor. They need the win. They can drop one game, but they cannot drop the series. And for top esports, it's all about how high can you climb, how many rounds of the playoffs can you avoid, and maybe even get yourself into a top 2 to get yourself into that double elimination. It is all to play for here for these two teams. A lot on the line. And at the end of it all, if anyone's legend do make it into the playoffs, it's going to be a potential opponent for them later on in the split.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that AL's focus right now is just making playoffs, but there's obviously a lot of consequences when you get to that point who you're going to be matching up against. And I think the fact that they beat EDG, there's potential today here for them to beat top esports would be absolutely massive for them, even if they don't make playoffs, because obviously we highlighted earlier, there's various scenarios in which they don't, even if they do win all 3 series, still a massive achievement. And I think the roster really has blown up over the course of the split.
Yeah, it really, really has. And see now how these teams want to go for it as we come in. Everyone's just going to spread themselves out. No one really kind of crazy going in. I mean, he should be fine. He should be able to just take away his buckshot and get himself over the wall, which is looking exactly like what he's going to be doing. We'll take a pretty unfortunate trade, though, as Wayward's going to follow him over. Xiaohao, though, is here, and you do have the Ghost of the Gwen. Wayward, though, needs to be a little bit more careful. Even Bob's the crying a move, who's saying, I thought this was a date. I thought it was just me and you. You didn't tell me he'd be here.
I'm going to say, you know, tracking the emote meta, that is a common one for Wayward, right? The crying emote. He's been using it a fair bit recently just to portray his emotions on the Rift, which I completely respect. I think emote mind game's very powerful in League of Legends. You obviously burn the ghost for that, but nearly got an opportunity to completely trade out on ZDZ. You see Xiaohao going very aggressive here. Oh.
Yeah, they're going to have to go very aggressive on bot lane, as we do see the level 2 immediately hit, and JackeyLove has to flash and cleanse. That is a perfect engage here for the bot lane, and we said it right at the start of the day that if this bot lane can go well for anyone's legend, it would be pivotal for them, so will it be for top esports. As we can see, Xiaohao just playing very aggressive with his jungle. Anyone's legend is saying, all right, Wayward, we took that personally. We're not going to start taking away camps from all the rest of your team.
Yeah, and I like this when you're playing into Hecarim. Viego is probably not the best champion to do this with, but when you have Prio mid, which the Vex will have against the Ahri, the Hecarim is vulnerable, right? He doesn't have a flash at nearly levels, so if you charge at him and you can't get over a wall, right? And you have the pressure in bot lane as well, so just force him out the jungle.
Yeah, and we can see the Glacial Augment just going to slow Mark down. He's down below half health. Xiaohao is just basically saying, I know that in the first 3 levels, you can't do anything, Tian. And he's going to get himself 3 camps. He got the Raptors, he's going to be able to take the Krugs, and he'll get the red buff as well. This is huge from anyone's legend.
100%, and I love the playing off the aggression from the bot lane. Chocho, a super aggro support. Flashes forward early, and that's the thing on Sett, right? You always run the Hex Flash. If anyone remembers, there was that meta where people would go Omni Stone on him, because it wasn't really about the Keystone. You just wanted to have Nimbus Cloak, and you wanted to have Hex Flash, and you would just, in lane as a support, Hex Flash in endlessly to try and find these windows. And with Glacial Augment, you actually have a good Keystone for engaging, so it's even better. But it's like you burn Flash early, you trade sums, but it doesn't matter because you still have Hex Flash, right? You can still pose threat. But now JackeyLove is on the back foot on that Draven. Obviously wants to avoid going down as much as possible, well, as you will lose all that extra gold potential.
Well, Tian now At a loss to what he wants to do right now. He needs to try and maybe look for something here in the mid lane, but For's just peppering down Knight makes it very, very difficult. And again, you don't have a flash engage. You don't really want to be flash charming on top of a Vex, especially with that personal space available to you. And this is just a very positive start from Anyone's Legends. And now that we've had the craziness as such in the early game, where do you want to see Anyone's Legends take this momentum? They've obviously put the Hecarim behind, but where do you want to try and see them capitalize on it?
I want to see plays bot, right? Especially when 6 is hit by AL's mid jungle. That is when I want to see you go on bot. If you kill JackeyLove, right, that's just a flat out win. You deny all those adoration stacks. Really easy way to shut him down and at bare minimum delay his spikes quite significantly. So that's why I want to see the direction they go towards the bot side. Critically, I love the play they made, by the way, after shutting Tian out of his jungle. You saw him hovering mid, helping Knight crash, but because ZDZ took that topside scuttle, and obviously the bot one was secured by Xiaohao, there's just nothing for him to do. It's the most frustrating feeling as a jungler when there's no camps to clear at all, and you just feel like if you can't gank, you can't do anything. He couldn't find a gank, so he was just basically AFK.
Yeah, he basically is just hovering, hoping for an opportunistic moment, which just sadly for the side of Top Esports never arrived. But let's see if they can make something work, as you mentioned, in that bot side. Still no cleanse for the next few seconds for JackeyLove, but still waiting on his flash to come back as well. And they need to be careful here, as Betty hasn't had a reset just yet, and that's kind of hurting him just a little bit. He stayed for a lot of that farm. And yes, he's going to be able to soak up a lot more of this. He should be in relatively decent standing because he knows there's no flash from JackeyLove, but it is still going to be very difficult. And to say that, Betty's going to have to use himself, immediately gets the heal off. They get the Gravitum, and they're trying to see if they can burn on the QiuQiu. Tian has to try and play bodyguard. They don't know that the jungler is there from Top Esports, but you still get the flash from Mark, and that is huge again in this bot side.
Yeah, nice to get the flash. Unfortunately, couldn't find the play on JackeyLove. They are trying to make this happen, but they don't have Forge there critically, right? And now, Xiaohao, this is very aggressive.
It is very aggressive, but they're going to flash in with the Gravitum, but Tian is there. They get the knockback as everyone says, let's kiss. First blood goes over to QiuQiu, but it's immediately set up as they finally get the resets coming in, though, for Xiaohao. Tian may be able to get 2, but the stand aside nearly keeps him alive. He's stacking these axes up as much as he possibly can. Knight is here, but Knight is not going to find anything as he canters off in somebody else's body. It's a 3 for 2 and an absolute mess in the bot side.
Yeah, so it's a win for AL, right, in terms of how many kills are secured. But JackeyLove able to cash in. You can see 500 gold lead between the AD carries, and that's the thing that makes me a little bit nervous in this situation, right? They weren't able to get JackeyLove at the start, and we'll see the replay, right? So very aggressive from Betty, so risky when you know Tian is in the vicinity. And yes, they can instantly burst out Mark, but JackeyLove gets the cash in there. He's happy, doesn't lose any adoration stacks there. And then the extended play, you obviously get a ton of value from the Viego. That's what happens in these circumstances. When kills are traded, he gets the resets, gets the Draven himself, and able to get a kill. But ultimately, I'm still a little bit concerned for AL just because of that cash in. But it was a positive play overall, and Xiaohao is now really far ahead in the jungle matchup.
He's light years ahead of where Tian is, and we talk about all the time how the Viego is not really the biggest in terms of the earliest skirmishing, but right now he's so far extended, he's going to have his Divine Sunderer so damn quickly in the setup, which means that by the time we get to that first Herald fight, that first Dragon fight, he is going to be so damn big. And now Tian, he's trying to see if he can make something else happen. You do now have Flash and Cleanse on the JackeyLove, so he's relatively safe as QiuQiu sniffs something might be amiss and does pop himself down the ward. They recognize Knight is coming as well. This is a straight up denial onto Anyone's Legends bot lane. They know they have got the pressure, and they know they can start denying Betty from this wave.
Yeah, nice lean. They get a plate off the back of it. They deny some minions away from Betty. They don't commit to it because, you know, Forge moved as well, and there's nothing worse than going for a dive and a Vex flies over after landing the ult. But still, I like the moves from Top Esports, right? Applying that pressure, looking for the windows.
Oh, Charm lands. Knight doesn't have a huge amount of mana, and here comes Xiaohao, level 7, equal on level with the mid laners. He is 2 levels ahead.
Up, yeah.
Oh. That is rough right now, which means that in terms of global objectives, normally we see like, a trade for Rift Herald or a trade for Dragon, whichever way you want to try and play towards your side. You haven't really got that option for TN, because if he finds you, you are just going to straight up lose that fight.
You can see Xiaohao heading straight over to do the Herald. Now, not going to have any support from the bot lane. Often we see supports reset, head towards the top side for that 8-minute mark, but AL feeling confident. I don't think Tian necessarily could contest this alone, but he has prior mid. And Knight is fishing. That's the only thing that AL really need to be concerned on. If Tian tries for a steal, that might actually be able to snap it.
Maybe he's going to try and look for it right now. Gets the eye hit and gets the steal. Massive move there from Tian, but here comes the Shadow Surge. He will take away the Rift Herald. He will give up his life. It depends on what anyone's legend can do here. Knight, though, needs to be in a lot of trouble. There's still a Shadow Surge and has to get himself out with the Spirit Rush. That's a bit of a risky move there, as we can see the Heartbreaker coming out from Xiaohao to try and maybe see if Knight went a little bit too far forward.
Yeah, AL kind of happy with that one in terms of burning the ultimate from Knight as well. They also get that kill. But overall, for top esports, that's weird, right? The Herald, just the plates alone, is about, well, you know, with an assist, it's obviously less gold, but you could easily use that to translate into more. And it's the fact that you also deny it from the side of AL. So, pretty solid win. I'll take the steal. I don't mind if I die. I think it was a good move from Tian there.
Oh, needlework has been popped. Only one of them hitting. It's going to force the flash out of ZDZ, as he knows if that last bit of damage hits on top of him, the healing from Wayward is pretty obnoxious, and it's definitely something he wants to avoid at all costs. Betty now seeing if he can find anything interesting in the river. Has got the Calirum Crescendum and should be able to poke out a lot of these different setups. But again, you can't really go for this dragon. That's a Divine Sunderer versus just a Balmy Cinders and a couple of half items. So it is getting tougher and tougher, and already the magical footwear coming out for Xiaohao just shows you, because he gets that extra cooldown reduction on the ruin because of the kills he's gotten.
Yeah, it gets it faster, and I feel like Xiaohao really is strong now. It's scary when a Viego is strong, because that's the thing in fights when you're getting all those resets, there's so much power available. And I think if he gets to the point where he can just shred through Tian or Wayward, it's going to make fights extremely difficult to handle. Time being, both teams trying to posture around Dragon, get some vision, but neither really committing too heavily. Do you see JoJo take a bit of damage, but I don't think he really cares that much. It's going to be interesting to see where the Herald is used. Typically, I'm fine with the Herald being used mid for 2 plates. Then the second one will get you the full tower if you're able to secure the second one. But for me, for top esports, I really feel like Snowball in the bot lane should be the big thing, right? You have a Draven there, right? If you can make that heavy play down on the bot side, there's already 1 plate down. You should be able to take the whole tower. If JackeyLove gets that gold, I mean, it goes without saying how well Draven scales with gold, right? His damage just becomes insane because of the massive AD ratio that his axes have.
Wish I could read that and figure out what those stats mean, but sadly I cannot. So no idea what it says, but yeah, I completely agree. I think it's going to be about this Draven keeping himself safe. You now have flashback for Betty. Pretty much someone else across the board apart from on the top side, so no TP is going to be coming in. This could be just a 3v3 or a 4v4 as both mid laners on the mid map start to path their way down. Mark is a little bit extended and needs to be backing himself away. They might try and find an engage if they can. The hook misses completely. The Xiaohao now, we're going to see the ultimates coming in. There's the Shadow Surge, gets the double fear off, and Mark has to get himself away. They've already used every single ultimate in this fight. They get on top of the 2 carries, and they try and turn back on top of this. Betty flashes over, but it's not enough. Mark gets himself into stasis before the resets can come in, and now look at JackeyLove, still alive, still putting out damage, and it's all top esports all the time. Triple kill for Tian and a little bit of redemption.
And that's everything. Turn around, right? Xiaohao was so far ahead, but not able to find the momentum in that fight. It felt like AL approached it pretty rough, and so many low health bars. Critically, they don't kill JackeyLove. Look at the bottom left of your screen, 194 stacks. That's 400 gold if he was able to cash in. And now, that's the consolation prize, right? Draven didn't cash in, otherwise things would be far worse. The fact that he's able to stay alive, the fact they win out that team fight so heavily, huge for the side of top esports. Look at that replay. And I just feel like top esports, you know, it's a little bit messy at first, but then this engage comes in from Forge. The follow-up isn't there. They look so split. They're getting corralled in, and then this huge ultimate comes in. The great hook from Betty to find onto Betty, sorry. And it's like Xiaohao, if he gets a reset here, it makes such a big difference. But just like look at the health bars of the bot lane of top esports, right? It came down those sort of minute little moments, right? Missing out a little bit of damage. And as a result, AL end up losing out.
Big shift to gold as well. Triple kill for Tian was absolutely huge to try and get him back into this matchup. And he is very much back into it. You know, I would actually look at the gold right now. He's ahead by 800. Let's have a look at the quick check at where everything is going.
Triple kill will do that.
Yeah, triple kill tends to do that sometimes. You got 600 now, maybe even 700 into the mid lane. You have about 1,200 now on the bot side. It's huge advantages here for the carries on the side of top esports. Yeah, and he hasn't even gotten the cash in yet.
It's 1,800 now. It's pre-cash in. If JackeyLove gets a cash in, he's going to be like 3k gold up. and it's going to be insane. It's just the thing is as well, because it's a Aphelios, right? If it's a Jinx, there's scenarios where you can sort of attack Draven when he can't attack you, like play around that range. The problem is, because Aphelios isn't that long range like Calibrum, it's gonna be like if you're in range to auto JackeyLove and you hit him like 3 times and he autos you once, you'll win the trade.
Yep.
2 items already completed. And again, I keep saying this, pre-cash in. If he gets another kill and cashes that in with the stacks he has, this game just feels doomed. Yeah.
He probably just ends up with like, well, I would
full build.
Oh my god, the game is over. I'm just gonna put a caveat on me saying he won't go IE second because you need at minimum 60% critical damage for IE to do anything. Yeah, I'm just doing a PSA to everyone in chat that's everyone's like, oh yeah, Draven 3rd item after Essence Reaver. No. Don't do that. That's a bad build. Do not do that.
It'll probably be collector into IE,
yes,
I would imagine.
That's what I'm thinking.
So you get the nice mix of lethality and crit. I think the thing is, like, crit's kind of a weird one for Draven, because obviously, like, crit is good on any AD carry, and you want to do those big crit axes. But the damage on your Q the extra damage can't actually crit itself, right? Your base auto crits, the extra damage doesn't, which is why the lethality is such a strong AD spike, and we see, like, Eclipse picked up. Because that huge extra axe damage is obviously affected by armor pen.
Yeah, absolutely is. Now we'll see with Top Esports having full control of this top side. They are going to try and secure themselves the Rift Herald. But will they take the fight afterwards? There's a flash in. They're trying to see if Forge can make something happen. But again, like last time, there's no one there to follow up with him. And he's just going to be taken down. So that's 1 kill and a cash out that we talked about as the rest of Top Esports keep pushing forward. Wayward TP on the backside. And with Knight cleaning up these kills, anyone's legend are routed.
Yeah, JackeyLove got the cash in. We were talking it up. It's a pretty rough one now. Herald's going to go down mid. I don't think ZDZ can defend too easily. They should just be able to get this mid lane tier 1, really open up the map and be able to snowball more. And things are starting to fall apart for AL. And remember, they can afford to lose this game, right? It's not the end of the world if they lose this game. But if they lose this series, they are out of playoff contention. And it means as much as they'll still have series left to play, their spring split will end with the regular season. So, you know, rough position now, but still looking to find header. We can see the replay. Chocho tries to find a big engage, but doesn't really connect that well onto the right targets. And then JackeyLove is just free hitting from the backside. The re-engage comes in. And with this much of a goal discrepancy, it's just so easy for Top Esports.
I feel like this is the momentum is very much with Top Esports. This game is running away from anyone's legends right now. AL have very little tools to come back in on top of this, and we will see not quite the full item from the cash in, but it is a serrated dirt
buy his
on
boots,
top.
Right?
Yeah, and he had to buy his boots, so you know we don't know how much he has. Oh, Betty's dead.
Oh my.
Betty's dead. Don't think. Oh, never mind. Knight's gonna miss pretty much everything, but he's still gonna get the reset.
I think,
so it's all good.
I think he expected a flash over the wall to come in, so he threw the charm in that direction to be ready. And then just didn't come, but it doesn't matter. That's the great thing about Ahri is when you're like fed enough that you don't even need to hit your skill shot.
Yeah, you just need to do whatever the hell, like, doesn't
you just
matter.
RW and just, yeah, it's kind of I'm Betty having a rough one right now. 0-4-2 on the Aphelios. Not the greatest performance, right? And a struggle right now. And it's a 6k goal deficit at 17 minutes. I'm just going to say it. This game looks very painful. It really is going to come down from an overstep or a mistake from Top Esports, right? If someone goes too deep, if we get a kill from where Xiaohao is able to get a reset, because bear in mind, right, we're talking about how fed these members of Top Esports are. Xiaohao uses his passive, then he becomes a fed champion.
Ah, Uno reverse card.
That's the strategy, right? That's why that's why it's okay when your teammates feed when you're playing Viego.
Yep. I mean, Viego is one of those champions that can just turn it around and set yourself and your team up for success as we come back into the game. Top Esports get themselves their second dragon of the game. This is the thing as well. Normally we see a team that say, look, we're gonna tank our gold a little bit so that you get Rift Heralds, we get dragons, and then we'll have a little bit of a win condition later. Top Esports haven't had to do that. Top Esports got themselves the first Rift Herald, they got themselves the second Rift Herald, they even got themselves the 2 dragons as well. So this is just objectives galore here for Top Esports, and anyone's legend don't have a response.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. And now we see Tian as well with the strong combo, the chem tank and the dead man's plate. So obviously this is a tanky Hecarim, hard to kill. But with this combo, you actually do a lot of burst damage on that first auto. So pretty scary. I like this from AL though. They have objective bounties available or the cash to be picked up on the map. And they're looking to cross map, right? They know they can't match Top Esports head on. So trying to find an angle here.
They're going to go for it right now, but he doesn't quite land the stun. QiuQiu cannot tank up anymore. This is a Gwen. This is a Gwen. This is a Gwen. Wayward. We talked about how good this guy has been playing, and finally he gets taken down. But not while this has all been happening. And in the top side of the map, the Vex is just deleted. JackeyLove is going to be able to break open the base. We're not even 20 minutes into the game.
You know, they get a kill, they get a tower. It's a little bit messy. Wayward with the emotes again. Question in the play. But at the end of the day, they lose out that tier 2 mid and the inhibitor tower. Now they're going to rotate up towards top. Forge goes down. The Hecarim, full tank, just slams in, blows them up. There's not much you can really do. And things are going from bad to worse from AL. It's the right play, though. It was the correct play to go bot side. The problem is, top esports just aren't hesitating.
And that's the big thing. Like you said, you're 6,000, 7,000 gold behind. There's not really many opportunities for you to get a picture-in-picture. And yeah, he just gets caught and blown up. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about in that replay. He dies.
Yep. That is an apt description. Not really feel like I have anything to add onto that one. You know, have JackeyLove picking up the collector. Yeah. That is a scare. I just, you know, I always get fascinated by these moments because I kind of know how much damage like different champions can do, right? You know, but I just love seeing when there's like a fed Draven, him throw an axe at someone, and it still catches me off guard when they lose like 60% of the HP. Look at the item differential between the AD carries, right? Like, yeah,
it's absurd. It's absurd. To
yeah.
think that it's not even items as well. If you look across the board, there's level
Two levels up, yeah.
Yeah, like it's just. The base stats are just not there.
Got a world championship title on him as well. Like,
I know, right? looking like he wants another LPL championship title as he's really kind of coming up. So there is a lot to be said. And for top esports, you know, it is just basically smack them with your wallets. You know, there's not really any other reason to do it. And I feel like ZDZ, you're overextended here, buddy. I don't think you're gonna be able to get out.
And he's pretty farmed up, right? Yeah, he's gone now because no CC
out.
from the Gwen.
Ooh, night, buddy. Come on, man. Even I knew that was going to be too long. Yeah. Come on.
He's, you know, you miss every shot you don't take. I think that's the view we got to take on this one. I will say,
sometimes you shouldn't take the shot.
ZDZ has been farming up a fair bit and is actually pretty strong, right? He's got a CS lead, two and a bit items completed, so he's actually relevant. Problem is, it's just so difficult for him to find headway in these fights. And that top esports looking towards the Baron, they want to bait them in, they want to start a fight, and they have the comp to do so with the Hecarim. I don't think they'll do it now because obviously the ult from Knight is on cooldown, but it's basically the play pattern, right? Set up an objective, get AL to move towards you, charge him down, because no one can really escape from this Hecarim Ahri. And that's kind of the power in this duo, is when it comes to this mid game, you see a target, and as long as they're within like 2-3 screens, you just charge them and they can't get away.
Yeah, I think that's just how, you know, we could talk about how anyone's legend get back into this or how top esports end this game. Realistically, this is top esports smacking the side of anyone's legend with their wallet. It's going to take multiple mistakes from top esports for anyone legends to come back into us. They need to try and catch JackeyLove out on a big engage, get those resets for Xiaohao. Forge gets on the backside with a perfect shadow surge and the doom and gloom fear as well. But that's a lot of if, buts, and maybes. And we talked about how Xiaohao was the amazing shining light right at the start of this game. He's actually behind in terms of items just because of the amount of global gold that top esports have been able to give over to Tian after that triple kill.
Plus, part of the power of the Hecarim is your items are cheap, right, as those tank items. Do you see JackeyLove picking up a Zeal? Probably going to go for a rapid fire just for those longer range autos, delaying the IE, but honestly, he's still doing more than enough damage. I think that's the difficulty, right? At this point, it really is desperation for AL in this game. It's kind of finding, as I said, a mistake. Top esports need someone to overstep. The resets need to come in, and that's how they find the momentum. But for now, top esports are kind of playing it safe, right? It's going to pick up this dragon on this side. Knight actually could. Yeah, not enough damage to kill QiuQiu, but a lot of threat there.
You know what I noticed?
What did you notice?
The way the dragons have lined up, if you read them from right, it's Earth. Do you remember 21st night or something?
Yeah.
Am I a boomer? Is that just not a song you know?
I mean, I know the reference. I just...
Night of September. No.
It's March. Like,
But I'm not. Yeah, September has happened. That's why I'm asking if you remembered.
I mean, a lot of Septembers have happened, man. It's been a while.
That's what I'm asking. Do
you actually remember what you were doing on that night of September? Like, in all honesty?
No.
Right, exactly. So you don't.
Unless I got engaged or like had a kid, it's not going to be a very memorable day. As QiuQiu gets assassinated, we have a look at the picture-in-picture. The top laners are going in, but the minions are coming to give a little bit of support there to ZDZ, who gets his Immortal Shield bow popped. Now they're actually just trying pushing him back down. I will say the Graves is doing very well on his own little setup right now to try and just keep this Gwen from doing anything in these fights.
Yeah, if this was a 1v1, ZDZ would be vibing. Unfortunately, it isn't. It's 5v5, and the rest of the top esports are starting Baron.
It's 4v3, because remember, QiuQiu got assassinated as Mark tries to play keep away. They're going to try to pop down the wall there to try and keep away QiuQiu. Excuse me, from Xiaohao, I should say. Is he going to go back in on the thing? They're going to take it. It's a flip. Oh my God. Anyone's legend. Get it. How do you let that happen, Top Esports? That is egregiously bad.
Oh my God, that ZDZ just takes the bot lane tier 2. And okay, the game is still in favor of Top Esports by all means, but man, that was messy. 2 objective bounties cashed in, the extra gold from the side lane tier 2. And they get the Baron as well. You have an Ahri, dude. I feel like Knight should have just been playing bodyguard to stop Xiaohao from getting in the pit. What's even more egregious is he came in the pit and he kind of just sat there.
Yeah,
right?
no one looked at him.
Oh, look at the replay. I just found it hilarious, but man, it's yeah. So like, you know, Mark was trying to play bodyguard and Knight was, and then they just retreat with the Baron at 2k HP, and Xiaohao comes in and Tian's like, bro. And it's actually hilariously enough the Aphelios who gets the steal with the ultimate, but yeah. Messy.
Oh, man. But, like, again, this is the thing where Top Esports looks so good, looks so dominant. And then, as I mentioned, anyone's legend, the only way they get back into this series is from a massive mistake. Like a Baron Swift, like not respecting the fact
more
that,
objective bounties as well now, look.
Yeah, like you're going, like fair enough, the gold is getting smaller and smaller, and now you're on 2.5 items in the Aphelios, now you're on 3 items for the Graves, 2 items onto the Vex with that Void Staff makes it very relevant. By the time 2 minutes is up and this Dragon happens, and actually as I say this, you can see this Graves just constantly pushing in. This is... I'm not saying it's not going to still be a Top Esports win. It's still very much their game to lose, but they might actually lose it.
Yeah, I mean, they've given AL a pretty solid chance with this one. The critical thing is, right, Gwen obviously scales exceptionally. Draven, one of the problems is that, like, you want to be ahead of the curve, right? He's 4 items to Betty's 2.5. There will eventually come a point where JackeyLove runs out of item slots, right? And he's full build. He doesn't get any stronger after that. The Hecarim, obviously, after a point, the damage is less relevant because you're full tank, but you're still strong in fights for the CC. But the Ahri is something we've seen fall off, like, in the later stages quite significantly. So this is definitely a game that the AL, you know, they've been given an opportunity. They're still a while away, right? They're still pretty significantly down in gold, but Top Esports has given them hope.
Hope is playing for RA, but he's actually in this game at all times for anyone's legend. It's an incredible scene right now, as we can see. Top Esports just controlling the bot side of the jungle. Like we said, it is going to be on anyone's legends to find these very small windows of opportunity, but if the enemy team opens that window a little wider, you'll take that no problem whatsoever. We are coming now up into this Dragon. It is going to be pretty much the soul here for Top Esports as Wayward, excuse me, gets himself onto the backside, and they know that there's got to be something up here as ZDZ. Yeah, you want to back away, buddy, and this is what I expected to see from Top Esports. Slow, methodical, just throw your wallet at these people, smack them down with it, and make sure that they just haven't got a chance to steal this objective.
And the problem is now, right, you've seen AL wanted to fight this. If you look at the inventories, both Forge and Betty bought stopwatches. They're investing into this fight specifically, but it's very difficult for them to approach, right? Have to force through quickly when they don't have vision. It allows windows 4 flanks to come in. You can see Wayward waiting on the side. And there we go. Let's engage.
Here we go. They're going to try and maybe look for it. Tian is hovering, thinking about the idea, but they will get the Haymaker out. There's the Moonlight Vigil to do some damage, but the support from AL has been taken out first. You got Wayward on the backside doing needlework and getting work. Double kill there for JackeyLove. A triple kill for the Draven. The Shadow Surge, not enough to take down Wayward, and that's going to be all she wrote. There is a small glimmer of hope in this game for anyone's legend, but that's all it was. And now Top Esports should be able to end the game.
Yeah, and I think there's that one Baron steal. Outside of that, this was really dominant for top esports. You know, sure, Xiaohao got an early lead. That was about it. It just felt like, other than that big mistake, top esports found a lead and really pushed it forward, which is what we expect from how they play. This is an aggressive team. They are going to take this game and take it to a 1-0. And now for AL, oh my lord, what was that damage?
That was an unholy amount of damage. I will say, Chocho, we salute you for going down with an absolute banger of a fight, but that is top esports taking game 1 over anyone's legend. Big win there for them. And again, this is kind of to be expected. Like we mentioned, this is a very momentum-heavy based team in top esports, and anyone's legend, despite having their own early momentum, just couldn't get it to work. That one fight down a bot side kind of unraveled the game so quickly for them.
That's the thing with the Draven, is like the game becomes so central around him, right? And I did like the composition that top esports had. They managed to comp that does snowball very effectively and has the tools to do so. But it just felt like, you know, that first fight, JackeyLove got like a minor lead, and then there was that fight you said, the one on the bot side, where he cashes in, actually didn't cash in, he just survived.
He just survived, and that was
and
the
then
big
he
difference.
just built up the stacks. He got a bunch of gold, suddenly cash in, boom. It's like that was the point where it's just over. And it's rough, right? I feel like, you know, you can definitely draw questions about the draft, but it just felt like top esports managed those skirmishes a lot better. And now the situation AL is in, they lose another game in the series, right? Whether it's this next one, or if they go to a game 3 and lose that one, they are just out of playoff contention completely. They will end their spring with the regular season, so everything on the line right now.
Yeah, I think that's the best way you can put it, is a lose and you're out. And I think as well, if they lose, we actually go down to 2 spots left for 3 teams. So RA should, if my math is correct, should be able to, confirm their spot if they do end up losing this one. I will have to triple check that one there, but I'm 99% sure on that. As we look to see, you know, where anyone's legend can take this. Because like you said, the draft felt okay. I did think that the Sett support was fine, but it was always going in at different times. Like Chocho was going in so deep, and then out of nowhere was just like, oh, I'm dead now, because no one was able to follow up. I feel like you need to combo that in with Forge, with Xiaohao, and maybe try and set that fight up a little bit cleaner here for anyone's legend.
The problem is, like, they're kind of in a situation where you want Betty on the back line, right? Just free hitting and kiting, but it doesn't really work because there's such good engage tools on top esports. And also, anyone JackeyLove auto just died. There was so much damage from this Draven. It was pretty insane, but it's one of those games where you just go, right, we messed up, they snowballed, it's cool, we go next, right? Don't get too hung up on the ifs and the buts and the whys and the wheres. Just say, we messed up, these are the critical mistakes we had. You know, maybe there were some things we could have done with the draft that would have favored us better. We go on the next one, and hopefully it goes smoother. Because at this point, AL, it's do or die.
It is. And, you know, as much as that is a very tried and tested saying, it is do or die. As we'll see now, we're going to set